The shape of a culture or total way of life of a community was in fact determined by or at any rate clearly structured in the same way as that culture's language. There is therefore concluded superior in a classic statement, no such thing as an objective, unchanging real world. Do you think that somewhere out there is a real world?
Nope. Because I feel that it's like with reality, I don't think like as I've been reading Plato and Nietzsche and all this other stuff, I feel that there's really no true reality because everybody has different perspectives of it. So I really think that there's just perspective. The only thing you can never be sure of what's really right because you have yours, they have theirs, and you can never figure out like the middle of it or like the whole like the just of it. So I just feel that there's just different perspectives of everything.
Yeah, but that's what Nietzsche is saying throughout most of his philosophy anyway.
Yeah.
That's what Nietzsche been saying.
That's the whole thing of perspectivism.
I think that there's a real world, but the fact that we would never know the real world because we don't allow ourselves to we don't allow ourselves to expand to reach the real world. Like you're always gonna be under rules. You're under rules. You're under language. You're under anything that's that's word based. You never gonna be able to free yourself. The reason the movie Neo was able to be in the real world is because somebody freed them. Nobody's here to free us. If your minds make you believe this is the real world, this is the real world for you. The fact that you're saying that there's another world beyond this is like it's taboo because you don't know what the real world is. No one knows what it is.
Bell Hooks is saying that she cannot speak her own language. She uses the oppressor's language, which fences her in its own reality, and prevents her from seeing the true world. She is also saying that in order to be free, we should create our own language, because language is what makes us free. Interpretation, I interpret that language is an aspect of life. It can either trap you or free you mentally. Bell Hooks, however, cannot speak her own language and instead uses the language of her oppressors. This language fences her in its own reality and prevents her from seeing the true world. I can also interpret that language broadens our views and strengthens your reality greatly. Can someone who creates multiple languages have multiple realities?
A language, right, pertains to a specific lifestyle. Like, chill, right? Real talk. Language pertains to a specific lifestyle. Like, we in the streets and we speak slang, and slang is just not no outrageous language that we just made up because we ignorant. It's just that the lifestyle that we live, we come up with certain words and terms that you only gonna understand if you experience that lifestyle.
Then he has a good point, but he left out one thing. It's different places and different people have different realities, but he forgot to say every person in that society has their own different reality.
Exactly.
Danny bunched up a group of people and said, how many people all have the same reality?
No, I'm not saying that.
I feel you're wrong. That's what they said.
They all look at reality in a different way, but they all share a common reality. Like, they all going through a similar situation. You know what reality is?
Yeah.
Really,
and that's why I disagree with Danny. That's why I started to disagree with Danny, because let's say me and Derek, we both live in East New York, we both live in the United States, but me and D have different realities.
No, y'all got different perspectives. Y'all got different realities.
That's what I was saying.
Why? That's what I'm saying.
No, you contradicting himself. You contradicted yourself.
Y'all
contradicted yourself.
Yeah, you contradicted yourself.
You contradicted yourself. Thank you.
Y'all know the words. Y'all understand different
said
everybody in the world got the same reality.
I said different societies have different realities.
If we both live, hold on.
Yo, Fred, he said different societies have different realities. No, what we was doing last time I stopped, right? What we was doing last time I stopped.
Yo, you stealing, son.
The quote is, in short, a culture comes to terms with nature by means of encoding through language, and it requires only a slight extension of this view to produce the implication that perhaps the entire field of social behavior, which constitutes a culture, might in fact also represent an act of encoding on the model of language. In fact, it might itself be a language. I think that this quotation defines culture as a language. People say language makes us who we are, that we have no hope for freeing our minds without a sense of language. As a matter of fact, not language, but language is. Yet, this is a cave all in its own, don't you think? But it's like culture is your way of life. You gain your culture by means of your environment, the people around you, their impact on you, and combining all of this, your interpretation of it all. In order to interpret something, you have to have something to interpret, which are the previously stated. That is yet another form of change. This interpretation coincides with Nietzsche's theory in that. And my question was, is structuralism a cave?
Well, like all ideas, everything's a cave.
Our bodies, it's a cave because I can't experience life in someone else's body. This chair is a cave because if I were stuck here, I couldn't see how the classroom looked from over there. You know, this school, this life, every single idea is a cave just in itself.
Structuralism is a cave, but inside that cave is a little crack or a little road to get to the light.